Welcome to the Red River Valley of North Dakota, a land flowing with milk and honey. You're watching Beet Farmin Mitch. A big shout out to my girlfriend Jennifer for coming out for the weekend. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for riding, and hey, thanks for helping us move fields and whatnot. That was a big help, so thank you. But yes, it's a new week here, a new day. We started combining some of that certified seed and going out to service the combines right now. So I got a tool pickup with our Thunder Creek service trailer, and we're gonna go fuel up the combines. There's actually a huge checklist of stuff I have to go through every day, but we're gonna do some of that and then start combining some good wheat hopefully today and keep on going. And then it sounds like we might kind of hit a wall and we might have some green stuff we're gonna have to wait for. Maybe we'll combine today and tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there, but let's service these puppies up. And first thing, usually, fuel them up with the old red dyed diesel. Next combine. We got the combines fueled up. I'm thinking now I'm gonna there's an air filter on each combine. That's for like the engine intake. So we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna blow out the radiators too. And then there's cab filters, so I might as well get those quick. That's just for like the fan and the air conditioner and whatnot, but we'll do that next. And on this trailer, we have a handy dandy air compressor in the back. And it's very nice to have a mobile air compressor and a welder back here too. So got all the goods we need. Take a peek under the hood. Here she is. Yeah, here's the regular engine filter. Here's the cab filter. This one's externally housed, so she gets pretty dirty, so I think it's time to blow it out. All right, so we got the air filters blown out. Combines are fueled up. I'm thinking I'm gonna do the radiators and clean those out now. The reason we gotta blow all this stuff out every day is because we're dealing with wheat and dust and harvest and chaff. You know, things get filled up with dust and we gotta make sure things are running clean. Things tend to overheat if they have too much dust, and it's just not good for the overall health of the machines. So that's why we like to blow everything out, and it works out perfectly because now it's the morning, and usually we can't combine until about like 10:30, 11 or so. I mean, it depends a little bit, but usually not till a couple hours into the day. Get some sun on everything, get a little breeze moving through, help dry things out, because usually if there's a heavy dew, it takes longer for us to combine. Because if we go out in the early morning with the combines, it'll be just kind of tough going. The wheat will kind of wrap around things and just won't thresh through as nicely. So that's why we usually go service everything up in the morning every day, and then we're good for the day, and then we combine until we can't anymore at night too. So because as soon as the sun goes down when you're straight combining, you notice it too. As soon as the sun disappears, boom, things get tougher. And of course, we have a lighter crop this year with things being a drought, things being drier. This field actually ran really good, but usually when there's light wheat, things dry out quicker, you combine faster. Yeah, this is the fastest I've ever combined. I mean, I'm combining sometimes at like 5 miles an hour. Usually we're combining at like 3 miles an hour or something, so. But anyway, I gotta get a quick drink of water here and we'll blow out those radiators. Radiators blown out now, so I think we're gonna go on to some of the more fun jobs. We're gonna probably check fluids here, check the oil, coolant, hydraulic oil, transmission oil, all that stuff real quick. Just make sure everything's peachy keen there. So check fluids, and then we're probably gonna run through with the grease gun on things. The cart and the 2388 have a fair bit of grease zerks on them. 9230 doesn't have quite as many, but run through with the grease thing, and then usually finish off with a visual inspection. I like to take the covers off the combine, take a look at the rotors, look at the sieves, make sure nothing's broken or there isn't a stick or something weird going on in there. Stuff like that, and make sure everything looks good. Check the sickles, maybe make sure there aren't any broken sickle teeth or anything to do. I don't think there's really anything to repair, so we'll see what happens there. Now let's check the fluids. You gotta love the view from the top of a combine. You can really see what's going on. Well, open up the engine bay here. Oil looks good. Fluids look good. So we're gonna hop in here. Oh, there you are. We're gonna hop in here. We've got my grease gun, and there's some zerks inside here. This is the engine bay. And you kind of got to search for them a little bit, but as I have serviced these over the years, it's pretty easy to remember where they all are. But usually the first time takes a while to figure out where they're all at. Usually just a couple pumps in each one, that will suffice. Sometimes you'll have a row of zerks like this with these little grease tubes that go to different bearings and whatnot on the auger and pivot points and all kinds of good stuff. Well, we're done upstairs now, so suppose I can fold the ladder up. Well, what the heck you doing up there? I gotta come get you now. Basically on these combines, the daily ones, there's one on this side, two on the other side. The header has a few, like the sickle and the reel. But other than that, it's not too much. So, you know, and a lot of times it's actually, when you're greasing, you gotta be careful, because if you have too much grease in a sealed bearing, you'll pop the seal and then it won't last as long, and that's actually worse than having it greased all the time. There's a lot more zerks on here, but they're more like 50 hour, 100 hour, once per season type zerks. Well, that should be about everything. The last thing I like to do is usually do a quick visual inspection. So we're gonna pop some of these shields off and take a look inside the combine, take a look at the sieves, make sure that everything's running all right. Where it looks good, that there's nothing fishy going on in there. Because if I find a northern pike in there, that's something pretty fishy. So basically how a combine works, you got your sickle teeth here. These go back and forth really fast. They slice the stems on the wheat, the straw, then that augers it in, and those bars pull it into something called the feeder house, which we will go around to the feeder house. So this is the feeder house. This basically is just what the wheat gets pulled through. As it goes through the feeder house, eventually it gets pulled into here. And so this is like where it starts getting threshed mostly. And so there's something called the transition coneway up there. And this is the rotor here. And then these grates and bars, that's the concaves, these are the grates. And that's basically, this big drum spins around really fast in there with the wheat going inside this drum. And as it rubs against these concaves and grates, the grain falls through. And as it falls through, it gets augered up into here and goes over the sieves, which, see this little cylinder thing that's really ribbed? That's called the fan, and basically that blows a bunch of air through the sieves to help blow the chaff out the back. If we go back to the sieves here, we can see how that's also like kind of grates, you know, like the heavy grain will fall through there, and then the chaff gets blown out the back to the straw spreaders there. And that's the chopper blades up there. That basically just, after the wheat goes through the rotor, it goes through these chopper blades, gets chopped up. And last but not least, we got the straw spreaders, and it gets blown out the back. And if we go around to this side, the grain that falls through will fall down into this elevator, and that elevates it up into the hopper there. And this is a rethresher. This takes some stuff that didn't quite get rethreshed, brings it back to the front of the combine so we don't lose any grain. And then, yeah, after your hopper's full, goes through the auger into the grain cart. And we might as well just go up the whole production chain. Then it goes to the into the truck, into the elevator, hauled to a train, to a mill, milled into flour, baked into bread, chucked in the grocery store, bought and by you, enjoyed with a nice slice of toast this morning, perhaps with some grape jelly or whatever your thing of choice may be. We'll be firing up soon here and get the combines going and continue harvesting our acres of wheat.